Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me at the Funhouse. I'm not going to show you this, but I am going to show you a hack. I have been putting a new front end in this 2008 Toyota Highlander. Apparently they only last 200,000 miles, and then you got to put a new one in, and then you're good to up to 400,000 miles. Nothing lasts forever, right? 200,000 is pretty impressive. At any rate, the rubber bushings or grommets were worn out here on the control arm, and here I wanted to do new ball joints, so I was able to buy a new control arm with the ball joint on it and the grommets already pressed in. I was like, okay, great, that's going to save me a lot of trouble, except that the motor mount is on top of this mounting side. So I won't bore you with the details. I watched a video because I didn't know what I was doing. And the guy I watched loosened up the motor mount, jacked up the engine, took the motor mount out, which was easy enough to do on the passenger side. And that allowed me to get to those bolts. However, on the driver's side, that's a different story entirely. This motor mount, I loosened it up here, got that nut off. There are 3 bolts underneath. I took all 3 of them off. I lifted the engine as high as it would go, and it would not clear. The bolts on the bottom would come out, but I couldn't lean it enough to get it to come out because this is so long, because this is so thick. And when I put the bottom in and tried to get the top out, the top was too long. I couldn't get the top out. I couldn't get the height out of the engine. The guy who I watched, he said it was because the car is all-wheel drive, so there's the drive shaft to the back of the car. That's why you can't get enough height and lift this high enough to clear. His solution was he unbolted the entire subframe from under the car. I said, that's ridiculous. There's got to be a better way. And there was. So you see there's this stud in the front. There's this stud sticking out here on the... as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, there's this outboard stud down here. There's an inboard stud between here and the motor. I loosened it, wedged the screwdriver in there, and I cut it with a Sawzall. After I did that, I got this one off, I got this one off. I was able to lift it out of the slot with a screwdriver, prying on it, spin it and wiggle it until I popped it out. Turns out that these are pressed in. This one is and the inboard one is. So I really could have just loosened the nut and knocked it out with a drift pin or something and then put it back in when I was done. But I didn't know that until I took it out. All I did was replace it with a nut, bolt, and washers. And it's plenty strong and plenty sturdy and doing its job. I don't know if you can see it back there. I put the nut on the top, so if it comes loose, I'll be able to see it more obvious. And yeah, I was able to do it without dropping the subframe. So that is my hack. That's what I did. Made life much easier. I was able to just jack the engine up on both sides and switch out my control arms. So that is my recommendation to you to make life easier. Either press out the old one if you can, save it, then take the nut off. When you're all done with the job, you put it back in again. Or cut it and replace it. There's 3 bolts on there. They're gigantic. I think I might have drilled it out to get a 3/8 bolt on there. You could get a metric one that fits. You could go get the same stud. You could salvage the old stud, whatever floats your boat. So do that and it will save you a lot of time, trouble, headache. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.